I'm just thinking, what's if I'm forgetting to learn isoglimas?
Rather don't.
Why?
Remember what happened with me?
What happened?
Magnetic thing, just
Oh, that day.
yeah.
Okay, let me just push it. There you go.
Yes. Miss Ngati Aichi. Sure.
Oh, yours. I have to sit here now. Where am I going? Is she here? No, she's not. So can I go there? Yeah. No, she's not. Whatever you did. Good afternoon, colleagues. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Mayor Mapumulo from the district. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Just disconnected.
Tissue cancer. I'm kind of
Colleagues, this is Senzele Mzila. I just want to check, Ma'am Mayor Mapumulo, can I just check, ma'am, if everything is fine on your side? I just want to make sure we are able to see you.
Hello.
Yes, Ma'am Mayor Unjani?
Ngiphilile unjani?
Ngikhona Ma'am Mayor. I just want to check, Ma'am Mayor, if video yakho iyavela.
Ividiyo yami ayiveli. I-laptop yami indala. Kuzwakala izwi lami nje qha.
Oh, that's fine, ma'am. We understand. That's not a problem, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Miss Kunute?
Yes, hi, Senzo.
Yes, ma'am. I believe almost all of our panelists are here.
Hi, Senzo.
Yes, ma'am.
My video is on. Is all our panelists here?
Yes, we've got Ma'am Mayor, Councillor Mkwebo. We've got Ma'am Mayor, Councillor Mapumulo. We've got Dr. Malechis from the National School of Government. And we also have Mangabo Koza, the artist. She will be performing later on. We've done a test with her team. We've also got Miss Ngati as well. I'm not sure if I've missed anyone. And then we've got Miss Puccini as well, who's here.
Yes, Madam Puccini.
Yes.
Okay, I propose that we start because we do have an announcement to make up front so that we also keep time.
I'd like to welcome everyone to this dialogue, the MEC with women of office bearers and municipal managers. I see my feed is no longer on. Senzo, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, no, I see my feed is back on. I'd just like to perhaps announce before we begin that our Honorable MEC is currently in a portfolio committee and he will be joining us shortly. He has conveyed his apologies to all the panel members and has requested that we please proceed, and he will actually join us as we proceed. So I think just in terms of the first item, I would go through the opening and the welcome remarks, and then we'll skip the MEC's address, and he will do that as soon as he joins us. Just in terms of introducing myself, my name is Halima Kunyute. I'm the Chief Director for Capacity Building within COGTA. I'm honored to be given this task to adjudicate this activity with my colleague, Ms. Funi Makanya. We'll be co-adjudicating. She's also going to be joining us a little bit later. She's the Chief Director for participation within COGTA. I'd like to greet all the panel members, the MEC in absentia, Honorable MEC Hlomuga, our MEC for COGTA, Councillor Mkhulisi, the Mayor of King Cetshwayo District, Councillor Mqwebu, the Mayor of Rhenkonyeni Municipality, Councillor Maphumulo, the Mayor of Umgungundlovu District. We also have here Dr. Malaikis from the National School of Government. We also have our only Deputy Director General within the COGTA department, Mrs. Barbara Mgochini. We also have Madam Zanele Mgadi, who is also a COGTA employee, but is today representing the local government sphere within the municipalities, ILGM. Funi, as I've said, will be joining us later. So colleagues and fellow panelists, this virtual engagement of Women's Month is taking place at a time the country is battling with the COVID-19 pandemic, which has also posed serious challenges for women. The COVID-19 national lockdown has witnessed an increase in gender-based violence, leaving women and girls vulnerable and in danger. This year's theme, as we all would know by now, is Generation Equality, realizing women's right for an equal future. The President of the country, His Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa, in his Women's Month address this year, said, under Generation Equality, we want to see women's full empowerment achieved by this generation within a generation. The Premier of the province, Honorable Zikalala, also in his scene where he hosted a roundtable on the 9th of August, announcing on gender equity priorities for 2020 up until 2025. The objective of this engagement is to dialogue with various participants in the local government sphere on aspects of impacting on gender equality in the sphere of local government. What women want is isiqubulo. The panelists will provide input on their experiences as leaders in the issues of equity in the local government space, the lessons they have learned, and provide advice to young upcoming women leaders. It will also provide information on capacitation of women, specifically the role that is played by the National School of Government. As we would know, this is a special initiative by the government for government. It will also contribute on aspect of advancing gender equity in budgeting and local economic development, further contributing towards gender equity in municipalities, the key challenges and lessons learned therein. As we are virtually having this engagement, most of the participants will be able to listen through whilst the conversations takes place. Our participants will be able to feed their questions into the technical team for us to field on this at a later stage, and also expose them as we continue the engagement. We are hoping to have fruitful inputs coming from the panelists. Wathinta bafazi, wathinta imbokodo, eshisayo, basopa, uzofa wena. I think given that short introduction and a way of welcoming our guests, we would have had, if the MEC was joining us right now, him making his address as we have outlined in our program. However, given that we have to continue without the MEC at this point, I will then please invite our Honorable Councillor Mkhulisi, who is the Mayor of the King Cetshwayo District, a leader and a real champion of women activities. I think at this time, I would please ask Councillor Mkhulisi to please share with us her experiences as a leader on the issues of equity in the local government space and the lessons that she would want to present and advise to this particular platform and those who are listening in virtually. Thank you. I think over to you, Councillor Mkhulisi. I'm not sure. I hope we'd be able to see her on the screen. Thank you.
Program Director, my apologies. I'm just joining now. I even do not know who is there, whether the MEC has already spoken, but I will make my input as I have been invited to do. Having put the apologies, I also would want as well to be allowed not to put video, because I think this side in Richards Bay, we have a challenge of network. If I'm allowed, can I switch off the video?
Yes, thank you so much, Mayor. Thank you for that. And just to inform you, the MEC will be joining us later. He has appended his apology. He's just delayed by a portfolio committee meeting, which is taking place right now. He should be joining us as soon as he can. Thank you very much.
Okay,
over
thank
to
you very
you,
much.
Councillor Mkhulisi.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me take this opportunity to acknowledge everybody who is here. As I've already said, Program Director, that I'm not very much aware who is here, but in terms of the program, I see there are also some who are going to speak during the process of our program who are mayors. Let me also greet them and everybody in terms of the protocol of today's dialogue. I am, of course, very much delighted to be made part of such a milestone contribution in terms of our women's struggles and our experiences in the workplace of local government, as we have been requested by yourselves, organizers of such powerful program. In his absence, the MEC Hlomuga, we must also indicate as women, both from administration and political office bearers, komasipala bonke, amakhansela onke, fanele siqhubeke sishaye izandla sibonge ithuba lokuba siqhubeke njalo sinakekelwe njengabesifazane, as the gender that is still struggling to find its place properly in the workplace as well. Ngifuna ukusho lokho-ke ngithi in 26 years of democracy, uhulumeni wakithi kuma-spheres angaphezulu kwalesi sethu eseqalile ukusebenza ukukhululwa komuntu omnyama ikakhulukazi nokukhululwa komuntu wesifazane. Ngesikhathi local government uqala into its existence, we must also indicate ukuthi in terms of the experiences that we have experienced as people that are deployed and as people that also are working in that sector, we must indicate that a lot is happening with local government, and many challenges that are being experienced at that level more than in any other sphere. Kodwa-ke kubalulekile ukusho ukuthi sizisubjecta kule theme yalo nyaka ekhishweyo, which for me also, as I was doing my small research, ukuthi we are still on the journey of the Millennium Goals on Sustainable Developmental Goals, goal number 5, which speaks about achieving gender equality and empower all women and girls. I believe that in terms of the gender barriers that we are also continuing to experience in the workplace of local government, in municipalities, differently, matters are different. We must indicate ma colleagues onke ami ngokunjalo ne-manager ezikhona ezisiphatha masipala lezo kakhulu zabantu besifazane. Umthwalo esibhekene nawo ungaphezulu komthwalo obhekene nabanye abaholi abangoza kwethu kodwa bona aba ubulili obungebona obethu ubulili. But in achieving the gender equality, kubiza ukuthi thina kuqala njengabesifazane who are in the sector sibe able to support each other, sibe able to come up with programs that are going to make us realize goal number 5 of the Sustainable Developmental Goals, equality, even in the workplace, in the municipalities. In this regard, we must be able to come up with ways of strengthening and empowering ourselves continuously. We must ensure that we remain focused and be decisive. And also we have to ensure that as women in leadership, komasipala singamakhansela, bahlonishwa mayor or deputy mayor or somlomo, and also as managers to 57, 56 and those below that level. Together we must have ways of oiling the gender machinery in the workplaces so that we're able to win the battles, that few of them I would want to make mention of the issues that we are faced with in the workplaces as part of the experience and my experience as well, particular njengomuntu osebenza kule sector. We are facing the program director, colleagues, everybody, delegates to this dialogue must indicate ukuthi the triple oppression that women of 1956 experienced and women before that, that triple oppression is also still in existence even during this particular time in 26 years of democracy. Kuphela sengakuthi ihluka kanjani and kuyiziphi izinto mhlawumbe ezenzakalayo kulesi sikhathi. That is why we are speaking about the achievement of gender equality for equal society, where opportunities as well will be equal, but experiences that we are confronted with even after sesidlulile kuma policies athathiweyo uhulumeni wakithi from the ruling party assisting us as women kuba sithole indawo yethu esifaneleyo so that our place is no more longer defined emakhaya ekitchen kodwa the experiences ethu okuqhubeka nokuthwala kanzima. It is experiences that are informed by the rights that are seemed awesifazane ngathi awafani nawesilisa. Ake ngenza isibonelo bafowethu esinabo la kulolu hlelo ukuthi if umuntu wesifazane la ku local government and I believe everywhere engenzanga kahle qala ujudgwa njengomuntu wesifazane before abe umuntu nje abe a human being kodwa you are first diagnosed, you are first judged as a woman before you are taken to scrutiny as a human being. Those are gender imbalances that we are still facing and confronted with on our daily lives as we operate within this particular space, local government. I am also reminded as I was just looking to the theme, also that the gender equality is not a fundamental right, but it is a necessity for a prosperous and also for the society that we want to see balanced, abantu bayo belingana, where gender equality will be the business of the day. If we may also, all of us understand that as a fundamental right, not to necessary, whether it needs to be negotiated. But as I'm about to go to conclusion, Program Director, it is important that we understand the challenges we're faced with. But at the same time, we must indicate that there is progress that have been made. That is why some of us are able now to stand firm and speak on our issues and speak on the challenges that are continuously being experienced. That is why we are also here in these positions, because there is progress that have been made this far. But other than that, the progress that has been made is still not enough. not unless wonke umuntu esekwazi ukuma athathe decision. You know, one of the bad experience we have as women in the sector, in the municipalities, will be that when you have to decide, because the role okuyona is an authoritative role or position, ekwenza ukwazi ukuthatha decision, but you will be questioned, you will be scrutinized just because you're a woman. You can't decide without the collective of people, and majority of them are men. You will be doubted whether your decision is correct. And I think that also it's one critical matter that we must continuously to confront, so that we assist ourselves to change the mindset of societies that we come from, to change the stereotypes, to change the gender blinds that are still there dominating in that male-dominated society we come from. The issues of culture, issues of what traditional practices are telling people, enza perceive konke esikwenzayo njengabesifazane even sesisebenza sijajwa sibukwa because umphakathi yakithi funde ukuthi owesifazane uyakwazi yini ukwenza lokho, angathenjwa yini ngaleyo responsibility. We're being judged because you are a woman, and therefore your space is not to be there up front and lead. And I think our sector, as well as local government, is still swimming deep into those matters. But therefore, I believe that as part of encouraging young women that are still coming from any other sector, is that the aspects that influence how society perceive women, rights also in the workplace, in local government. Thina sihlala nabantu eduze kwabantu bahlala nathi kakhulu, babona thina kakhulu. Indlela abaresponda ngayo kithi njengomama noma njengabantu besifazane iyahluka kwesinye isikhathi ngendlela abaresponda ngayo kumuntu wesilisa when you have to address issues of communities njengabaholi abahola kule level. In this dialogue as well, I am of course aware ukuthi we are together namakhosi esifazane ngoba sibi space nabo esisodwa, kodwa together we can be able to do more, and together we can be able to contribute to empower young women that are coming up also in any other sector, and with of course being able to reposition ourselves in that space to claim back our space and our victory from 1994. We must, of course, with that get courage. We must at the same time have oomph to do what the women of 1956 have done to be able to win the battles of that time. And I think that our battles also are just on the wall to say together, if we can hold each other, singabi enemy omunye komunye, kodwa emsebenzini mangenza isibonelo umasipale nguwo eKing Cetshwayo umeya wakhona, myself I'm a woman, wakhona is a young woman. Akukho kwenza kufanele singakwazi ukusebenzisana, kodwa kufanele sibe able to define our roles clearly and lead by example. Sikhombisa abantu ukuthi abesifazane can do it. And proudly I can say, it's like, as I conclude, Program Director, that I'm proud to say as a woman leader, I am able to work with other women leaders into the lane of administration. Working together will then be a tool for all of us to conquer issues, to conquer challenges and battles that we're still confronted with. Other than that, it is not yet Uhuru until our struggles continues and our struggles are being won by ourselves. Thank you very much, Program Director, and all colleagues that are part of this. Just to make a point that we are still part of this and we are committed to ensure that together, being led by yourselves, COGTA, we can be able to make it and do the best for the women of our society. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mayor Mkhulisi. The mayor has spoken. I've heard while she was narrating that we as women should do what the women of 1956 did, support each other and hold each other's hands and come up with programs to strengthen and empower ourselves in terms of capacity. Now, these are some of the key areas towards emancipation of women. I think we will hear from the next presenter in terms of what is in store regarding capacitation. She further went on to say that we should really indeed ensure that we define our roles clearly within our work environments. And of course, she does not shy away from acknowledging the fact that we still have challenges. We still have challenges that we need to overcome. But in these challenges, we should find strength and ensure that we, in fact, rise to the occasion and ensure our worth as women is, of course, envisaged. Our next speaker has a presentation. I would invite Dr. Malachis to please load the presentation that she will be sharing with us. She is from the National School of Government and would be, of course, ensuring that we understand the role of the National School of Government in the effort of ensuring that we are capacitated as women within the local government sphere, as government has ensured that this particular school is in place towards our capacitation. Dr. Malachis, please, can I hand over to you? I think my colleagues were assisting in loading your presentation. Please take the floor. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Program Director. Lochani Abomame, Sanbonani Tegwini. Thank you for having me on this platform. And I would like to acknowledge the MEC in absentia and all the important guests that are here with us. My name is Izimangaliso Malachi, M-A-L-A-T-J-I-E, and I am from the National School of Government. So today I will be sharing with you the presentation on the National School of Government. Okay, I hope you can see the presentation now. Firstly, I would like to give you a little bit of background about what the National School of Government is all about. We started off as the Public Service Training Institute in 1987, and we moved on to what's becoming SAMDI in 1996. Then in 2008, we became PALAMA, Public Administration Leadership and Management Academy. And in 2013, we changed our name to be the National School of Government. All these changes have happened throughout the years because we were growing as a department. We started off in 1987 as a small unit within the
Sorry,
DPS.
Dr. Malachis, can I interrupt you? Can you share your screen because we can't see the presentation, please? Will you please assist us? Thank you so much.
I am sharing my screen, but okay, let's see. Let's try again.
Yes, we have it now. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Okay, right. I'm going to start again. I said we are the National School of Government. We started off as a small unit within the DPSA back in the 1980s. We started as Public Service Training Institute. Then in 1996, we changed our name to become SAMDI. 2008, we became PALAMA. And in 2013, we changed to become the National School of Government. Throughout the years, we have been changing because we were growing as a department. Our core business is training and development of public servants. So where is the National School of Government located? It is located within the Ministry of Public Service and Administration under the leadership of Minister Senzo Mchunu. And currently the National School of Government has appointed a new head of department. It is Mr. Busani Ngaweni, who started in March 2020. So we are within the Ministry of Public Service and Administration. The mandate of the NSG, we get our mandate from the Public Service Act, which says we must provide training or cause training to be provided. And it is further emphasized in Public Administration Management Act, PAMA, to say that to direct the NSG to provide qualifications, part qualifications and non-formal education as recognized by the National Qualifications Framework or the South African Qualifications Authority, SAQA. Section 13 of PAMA provides that the minister may, after approval by cabinet, direct that the successful completion of specified education, training or examinations or tests is a prerequisite for specified appointments or transfers and compulsory in order to meet development needs of any category of public employees. I will elaborate further when I get to the specific courses that we're doing. So what are the programs that we are offering as the NSG? We have a suite of 4 different components. First one is the compulsory and mandatory courses that we have, which is courses such as your induction, ethics, performance management, delegations of authority, and the most popular course amongst SMS, which is Kaedu. Then we have management development programs such as mentoring, coaching, and innovation. Then further on, under functional management programs, finance, HR, supply chain, risk, and budgeting. And good governance programs, which is why we are here today. We have gender mainstreaming, disability awareness, and M&E courses. So all these programs are quality assured internally, and some have external accreditation through the regulator, sector education, training, and quality assurance, or through University CNED. So although the NSG responds to outcome 3, which is professional, meritocratic, and ethical public administration, its strategy is aligned to the MTSF. So we're supposed to contribute to the following outcomes through education, training, and development: improved leadership, governance, and accountability, functional, efficient, and integrated government, professional, meritocratic, and ethical public administration, social compact and engagement with stakeholders, mainstreaming of gender, empowerment and development of youth, and persons with disabilities. So to ensure that our programs and interventions comply and meet these standards, the NSG outlines the targets of all beneficiaries as a target for women to be 50%, target for youth 30%, and target for people with disabilities to be at 2%. So then the programs that we have, we are also responding to outcome 5, which is mainstreaming of gender, empowerment, and development of youth and persons with disabilities. And one of the main courses that we have here, main programs, it's mainstreaming gender in the public service. We also have diversity management, accelerated development program, and a range of leadership development programs, such as your executive development program, foundation management program, emerging management program, advanced management development, mentoring and coaching for public service, and leadership innovation in the public service. We also have compulsory induction program. So this one, it is according to different categories, different levels. For example, I train on level 13 to 14, and we also have executive induction program and pre-entry into SMS, which is known as Nukela. It is one of our new courses at the moment. Then, additional to the above training programs, the NSG also develops courses that are responsive to the needs of the public sector at any given point. Like, for example, right now, what we are responding to gender-based violence, and we have a 2-day course, and the content of the course has been carefully selected to empower and build resilience in a caring, learning, and development environment. Then we have also a 3-day course, gender responsive planning and budgeting. We also have a 2-day course on sexual harassment. Here, the topics for this course will include relevant issues such as current gender advocacy agenda, including hashtag #HearMeToo, hashtag 365 days of activism, hashtag total shutdown, and hashtag not in my name. Over and above these, we also have courses that are directly focused on local government. For example, we have local government leadership development program. We also have legislature capacity building program. We have graduate certificate in advanced governance and public leadership. We also have leading innovation in the public service. And we also have municipal and political leadership webinars and workshops that we will have from time to time. NSG also offers leadership seminars and workshops other than the local government ones. And the purpose of these workshops is to contribute to the development and professionalization and of capable core of public servants who share common service values. Example of the workshops that we normally have, they would either be on a one-day workshop or a two-day workshop. We would be looking at things such as strategic planning, emotional intelligence, youth in leadership, conversations with women in leadership, combating corruption through ethical leadership, traditional leadership and social change, industrial and economic leadership. And I must emphasize that as the National School of Government, we are very passionate about women development. We also strive to ensure that we have more women within our courses. So the mode of delivery, we normally deliver our courses through a face-to-face contact at the NSG premises in Pretoria, or we do it through the provincial academy, like the provincial academy in KZN. We also do it at client department services. But over and above that, we also have online learning, which is known as e-learning, where you can learn in your own space. And due to COVID-19 pandemic, the NSG had to adapt to its courses for online delivery and use different e-platforms like we are currently doing right now. So tomorrow, on the 26th of August, we will be having an open webinar where our Deputy Minister, Ms. Cindy Chikunga, will be commemorating the Women's Month, and we will be having a dialogue or where we are empowering women in the public sector. And our guest speaker there will be none other than Professor Thuli Madonsela. I've already sent through an invitation to your offices. Hopefully, if anyone is available or is interested, you will be able to join us tomorrow for this webinar. It is a very insightful webinar, and I know you will learn a lot out of it. Also, we have a 5-day online workshop that is coming up, and it combines topics on GBV, gender responsive planning and budgeting and sexual harassment. And it will be piloted from the 31st of August to the 4th of September. So this is a 5-day online course, and it costs 5,940 per participant. And it is open to all public servants, both national, provincial, and local government. Then it should be noted that the programs that have been listed are not exclusively designed because we aim to create an understanding of gender-related issues within the workplace. Gender issues are not only specifically for women. Also, the men within our organizations need to be gender aware. They need to be gender sensitive. They need to know what are the gender-related issues that women are currently going through. So then we also invite them on some of these courses. It is in fostering this understanding that all departmental employees, including especially the decision makers, will develop the skills to mainstream gender in all the programs, as well as have a gender responsive budget for training and ensuring that gender-related issues are attended to. Women are also encouraged to enroll for programs such as AMDP and accelerated development programs, different leadership development programs, and the CIP, which is the compulsory induction program, and Nukela. I must mention that Nukela is for everyone who would like to apply for an SMS position within government. It doesn't matter, you can do the course whether you are in local government, provincial, even if you are in the private sector, but you are interested in joining government, you are welcome to do Nukela. It's an online course. It costs about 265. You can do it at your own pace. It's about 120 notional hours. So you do that as you go along. And when you finish, you get a certificate of competency. So these are some of the programs that we have in place to empower women in leadership and women at large. So this is particularly important as the public service currently has 42% of the 50% equity target for women at SMS level. And I must say, we are also one of those where we are striving, one of those organizations and departments where we are striving to have 50% representation within SMS, especially at executive level. As with the NSG, departments need to also review their targets for all programs to ensure that 50% representation of women, including women with disabilities, are at SMS. So we are saying at the National School of Government, let us work together to ensure that we are able to achieve this target of 50%. I mean, the world all over the world, all over South Africa, we have more women than men. However, when you go into leadership, there is more men than women. So you ask yourself, what is causing that disjuncture? But we are saying together as women, together as the School of Government, we can work towards ensuring that we meet the 50% target, if not more than the 50%. So then I want to conclude by saying that, you know, if we learn together, we can serve better and we can grow our nation to ensure that South Africa becomes a better place. And Ngiyabonga, thank you very much, Program Director. And I salute each and every one of you who is on this platform. And to the women out there, I say, aluta continua. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Malachis. I think from now onwards, all of us and those who are listening in have a better understanding of the offerings within the NSG. I think in your presentation, you alluded to the e-learning platform, which is what we are all moving towards. I think it's bringing us closer to the 4th Industrial Revolution. I think COVID has actually forced us to work differently, but yet efficiently. I think in your presentation, you spoke about the alignment of this particular institution on outcomes 3 and the various training programs which we understand are critical in the functioning of our government at large, the professionalism, the ethics, the mainstreaming of gender, as we understand that we still need to achieve this particular parity within the institutions. We are not also leaving out, I heard you saying you have training towards the disability, because those are important components within our society. And we are very grateful that your organization is encompassing all these various diversions of society and towards empowerment. I've also heard that you've got programs for the youth specifically and in-depth courses on gender mainstreaming. I think people who have the same agendas think alike. I like the hashtag 365 days because I've just launched a book which speaks to the effect that we should be working towards gender equity, 365 days. The title is actually away from 16 days to 365 days, because I think the theme that we have encompassed is, you know, we talk about gender issues and then we come on Women's Month and converge. Yes, it's important, but it should be an ongoing struggle that we build within our institutions on a 365 a day kind of phase. I think it's really insightful to understand some of the activities that you are undertaking and the essence of you encompassing even the men, because they need to understand our plight as women and we need them to achieve our agenda. And in them understanding our agenda, we are likely to reach our destination sooner rather than later. We are still awaiting for our MEC. I'd like to further apologize to those who've just joined us. He is currently just engaged in the portfolio committee. We will be then taking our next contributor on the platform, Councillor Mkwebu, the mayor of Rhenkonyeni municipality. If she can please come through so that we can also be further getting our inputs with regards to our leaders in the space of local government. Councillor Mkwebu, I'm not sure if she's able to.
Thank you, Program Director. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear, Councillor Mkwebu. Thank you very much. We can even see you now. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you very much.
Go ahead. We are looking forward to your input.
Thanks, Program Director. Also, greet our MEC Hlomuga in absentia. Also our mayors, district mayors who are there. Also greeting Dr. Malaki. I was very much interested on what she was teaching us today. I think I will follow her gradually. I must say, my name is Cynthia Nomosamkwebu. I come from a rural village called Mbuchini in Ward 29, right in Renkonyeni. I'm a qualified teacher by profession, and I've practiced teaching for a long time before venturing into politics. I've also been a businesswoman at a time when Black business did not even receive any recognition for or support from our government, from the government which was there. Let me say that. When our province and district was engulfed by political violence, I joined members of the community who were trying to facilitate peace through structures such as Community Policing Forum. On becoming a leader, at a height of political violence, it became obvious that we had to do something to help our community in our area. People were dying every moment, every minute, every night. And as women, I said, enough is enough, coming together with other women, because I thought of those women of 1956. Together with some community members, we formed a peace committee to try and bring warring factions to the negotiation table. It was also during this time that I became the Community Policing Forum structure, which collaborated with any organization to bring law, peace, and order in the community. It was through CPF that I was recognized as a capable leader, and I was assigned in various leadership roles in the province. In joining local government in 2000, in year 2000, I was approached by members of the community to become a ward councillor, to represent our ward in the then Hibiscus Coast municipality. My party won, then we had a seat, and I duly joined that municipality, and I became a councillor. I enjoyed serving the community in this way. I found myself making a difference in the people's life and rewarding those who needed to be helped. I always say, if a woman is given a job to do, he works even more to make sure that other women out there, they are really happy, and they won't be going around wanting, not getting help. It is at this time where few women were elected also to local government, even fewer employees as leaders. We are mayors today, but at that time we only had men who were mayors. Well, whilst I finished being a ward councillor, I became the executive member of the Hibiscus Coast municipality. Then whilst I was there in 2009, I was deployed to be a deputy mayor of the Ugu district municipality. I was given this position, and I had to be in this position until 2011. Then I was called back by my party to become a mayor of the then Hibiscus Coast municipality. In 2016, I had honor of being deployed as the first mayor of Renkonyeni municipality, which came as a result of the merger of former Hibiscus Coast municipality and Izenqoleni municipality. When leading in local government, I must first say, when I joined, and when I joined as a woman, I could see that the men were in front in numbers and women were at the last. But we are happy to say they really gave us positions, and we made sure that we learn, even how few we were, but we made sure that we learn, and we must know what is happening in the local government. The problem of women exclusion from mainstream social and economic activities is due to our socialization and unequal power relations. Our government has done much to address the problem. Many laws have been passed to ensure equal representation, which is still happening even today. In 2010, Salga Women's Commission was established to deal with the specifically issues facing women in local government. More than that, Women Commission is tasked to ensure that the policy decisions to address gender inequality and advocate for women-friendly environments. These measures have gone a long way towards meeting the needs of women empowerment, which I'm not saying already we are now, we have been empowered, but there are a lot of women who are empowered, and there are those women who are eager to be empowered. I also want to say the leading party, which is ANC, also took a resolution to elect at least 50% of women leadership to all structures of the party and government. We are today, I must say, especially here in KZN, we have MECs. We are saying there are more than at least 50% or 50% and more who are serving as the leaders, women leaders in the KZN legislature. And we are proud of that. And we want them to stand for women there and make sure they are there for women, but only not for women, the whole community at large, they are there for us. For example, I first joined local government when all mayors were male. I did say that. But I'm proud to say today, in my district, we are 3 female mayors, and in 4 mayors which are there, we have 3 female mayors and there are 2 male mayors, which shows that we are really capable as women to lead. If as a woman you are afraid to lead, because sometimes you have to take tough decisions, which makes you not friendly to anyone. But because you're a woman, you would say, I'm not here as a woman who's going to shut up when things are not going right. I must talk. And when you talk, they listen. They really listen. And I'm proud to say, I'm working with males. I'm working with males here. I've got 3 males whom are at a higher level, but they respect me, I respect them. Because we work together making sure that we are doing good things. Well, I'm happy to hear Dr. Malachi talking about education. We need training. We need, as leadership, to be trained in different spheres, also educated, but I will also invite the young women down there. Young women, if you are not educated, you don't have power to knock at big doors. Some, we have women who are CEOs, we have women who are doctors. I'm proud of that. Not one place where you can say, no, I can't be maybe, let's say, a CEO or a professor because I'm not educated. If you are prepared, you will go and make sure that you really participate. Lessons I've learned, I just want to say the space in local government is being contested as in another area, because everyone says, if I've become a councillor, I want to be an ESCO or I want to be a mayor. But we have men who are saying, I must be a mayor, I must be a councillor. So this space is really contested very much in local government. Women in leadership have a unique role to play in ensuring that more women are recruited into positions of authority. And I love when higher women or women in higher positions, they are together, they are discussing. We must not make sure we are pulling one another down because I'm a woman and she's a woman, but I can't help. Where she wants help or where I want help, we must make sure that we change hands and help one another. Women in leadership have a unique role to play in ensuring that mama lapha phansi who have nothing, who are not working, or children who are orphans, fathers who are not working, we in women leadership must make sure that we visit those people, we talk to them, we look at what can I offer to these people to make sure that they live long or they feel in life, at least somebody's giving us something, whether it's food or whether it's whatever, a place to stay, but there are women who are looking after us. My observation as a woman, I want to say a lot of space in government we can occupy, working together with our male counterparts. And there's nothing as a woman which you can say, I mean, I can't be this. We have municipal managers today who are women. We have mayors who are women. We just want women who are going to be president. We just are lacking on that one. I wish one day, as South Africans, we must have a woman president and say, at least we have done so much. Women leaders cannot be complacent. They always need to do more to inspire confidence. It is women who must lead and fight against crime committed to other women and girls. For example, we have women who are harassed, sexual harassed at work, but we are afraid to talk to other colleagues of ours because you are saying, if I say so, I will lose job. There are a few young girls who at some stage they phone me or they want to see me talking about this sexual harassment. And I will always give them the right way to go. Some, whilst I'm waiting for them to do something, they withdraw cases because they are afraid. So we need to work together so that we are saying gender-based violence is no more. We have marched, we have done everything as women, but they are killing us whilst we are doing that. As I land, I want to say women in leadership must also be instrumental in grooming other women to become leaders. I thank you. Did you hear me?
Much. Yes, yes. Thank you so much for that insightful insight into your journey as a counselor. I want to draw on what our previous icon, Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela, said when he said, "Remember to celebrate milestones as you prepare the road ahead." Indeed, we are celebrating a milestone. I heard the mayor here announcing the fact that when she joined local government as a councillor, there were no female mayors. And today, within her district, there are almost 3 female mayors. This is indeed something to be celebrated. This is a milestone that we have come in as local government. And I believe indeed changes are taking place, whether it is at a pace we are comfortable with. That is the question that we should be perhaps asking. It is encouraging to understand that she was also in business, something that most of us perhaps didn't know, understanding that to run a government and to run it in alignment as a business would then add value to that. I think she also mentioned a very important aspect here in our emancipation as women, the socialization aspect as a key contributor to the inequality that women are confronted with. Further alluding to the fact that the PhD syndrome, as we know it, some of us, the pull her down syndrome, that is something that occurs amongst us as women, is really something to be frowned upon. It should be an etiquette that is never acceptable. And as women, we should support each other and allow each other to grow where we are. She also alluded to the fact that she works with men and affirming the fact that they understand that she is the leader and she is able to command respect. She's able to command respect. I think these are some of the key aspects that the mayor has shared with us here today, also encouraging us to invest in the youth that we work with in terms of capacitating them. And she's also mentioned that she has never stopped capacitating herself, as I can attest that she's part of our many capacitation activities that COGTA rolls out within the sphere. I think as COGTA, led by our MEC Hlomuga, we are very, very passionate about ensuring that women specifically are capacitated. We do have specific programs, like for instance, the hashtag Pressed for Change, wherein the key activities within these programs are on leadership, are on affirmation, and of course on budgeting and just emotional intelligence, because as women, we do understand that we need to have a balancing act. We are mothers, we are sisters, and we just have to be able to balance our work as well as our leadership roles and being mothers at home. We do have a lot of participants here logging on. I see that Zululand has actually congregated in their auditorium, and they are seeing this particular engagement. We are very excited that we are being joined by all the other participants. I want to just say that in terms of our next, before our next speaker comes, we will be able to take some questions from the floor after the next speaker. So those who are wishing to perhaps participate by posing a question to the panelists that have already presented, I would request that you put up your hand and we'll allow you then to participate just after our next speaker. I will now open the floor for the mayor of Umgungundlovu district, Maphumulo. Please, if you can embrace us with your input towards this participation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Let me start by greeting our MEC, Mr. Hlomoka, in his absentia. Ngibingelele imbokodo yonke ekhona. Ngiyazi ukuthi kukhona ama-officials wethu, ama-office bearers zethu, kukhona ama-municipal managers akhona, kukhona namakhosi asendlunkulu ayingxenye yale visual meeting. Ngifisa nje ukuthi wathinta abafazi, wathinta imbokodo. First of all, I would start by saying thank you very much for the opportunity to commend the Honorable MEC on this initiative. We need to continuously engage in dialogues and forums to address the thorny issue of gender equality and women's rights, and also to make sure that women are capacitated around these issues. Over generation, all efforts to address these issues have yielded some results, but women continue to be marginalized in various ways. According to the United Nations, there has been progress over the last decades. More girls are going to school, fewer girls are forced into early marriage, are no longer forced to the early marriage. More women are serving in parliament and positions of leadership, and laws are being reformed to advance gender equality. And I think we need to thank our government for this. Despite these gains, many challenges are still there. Discriminatory laws and social norms remained. Women continue to be underrepresented at all levels of political leadership. I know that ANC all along have been pushing 50-50, but again, we are working hard to overcome those challenges, as well as in the mainstreaming of economy. We need women. We want to see women taking a lead in economy. According to, across the globe, many women and girls still face discrimination on the basis of sex and gender. Gender inequality underpins many problems which unequally affects women and girls, such as domestic and sexual violence, low pay, lack of access to education, and inadequate health care. Not only does it affect the lives of individuals, men and women, but inequality between gender also stunts economic growth and hinders its development. Sustainable development relies on ending discrimination towards women and providing equal opportunity for education and employment. Kufanele nje senze isiqiniseko sokuthi thina njengoba sesibadala sisho kubantwana ukuthi uma ngabe ufuna ukuvula noma imuphi umnyango sobe ukwazi ukuvula ungaphethe imfundo yakho ukuze lelizwe silibone lithuthuka liya kwenye level. Empowering the women to participate fully in the economic life across all sectors is essential to build strong economy, achieve internationally agreed goals for development and sustainability, and improve the equality of life of women, men, families, and communities. Because once Zabane strong economy, izwe lethu, imphakathi yethu, even our families ethu are becoming better and better. So it is important to capacitate women. We know very well that abantu besifazane yibona bayi-backbone yamakhaya, and umama ucabanga ukuthi abantwana bami bazodlani kuyo yonke into eyenzakalayo. So capacitating abantu besifazane, you capacitate the nation. For many years, women's rights movement have fought hard to address this inequality, campaigning to change laws and taking to streets to demand their rights to be respected. A new movement have flourished in the digital age, such as the #MeToo campaign, which highlights the prevalence of gender-based violence and sexual harassment. We need also to make sure that now and again we talk about these issues so that we give information to our women and so that they can be able to take their rights in a correct way. Often women are the subject of gender-based discrimination in the workplace. One way of illustrating this is to look at the gender pay gap. Ngiwumuntu wesilisa, ngumuntu wesifazane, sisebenza umsebenzi ofanayo, but mina ngihola imali engalingani nalo owesilisa. So yonke leya ifunakala siqale sibheke ukuthi silungisa kanjani. Equal payment for the same work is a human right, but time and again, women are denied access to a fair and equal wage. This leads to a lifetime of financial discrepancies for women, prevent them from fully exercising independence. That means an increased risk of poverty is also part in the later life. We cannot say we are completely free until women's rights are recognized and applied. I always said the women's rights are human rights, and we need also to make sure that our men are also taking women's rights seriously in order for us to be able to be a good society. It was not until the introduction of the Bill of Rights that all women in the country receive normal recognition as equal citizens. Black women were obviously double disadvantaged as a result of their race and their gender. The law in various forms had had a significant role in this prejudice. Nowadays, women and Black women in particular are still economically disadvantaged. They make up an unequally section of the unemployed and tend to occupy of a lower page drop as domestic and farm laborers. And they often learn less than men for the same task sisebenza imisebenzi efanayo but sihola ngendlela okungesiyona. Unless women have access to empowerment opportunities, allowing them to join the workforce, our country will struggle to develop fully. And I was taken up by Dr. Malachi when he was introduced the institution and also the work that they are doing. And I said to myself, all our girls, even us, we need also to be part and parcel of those programs so that we capacitate ourselves to be able to lead our municipality in a correct way. The effective of COVID-19 has impacted very negatively the lives of women across the globe. Women play a very significant role in responding to the virus, including frontline healthcare workers and career at home. Women unpaid care work has increased significantly as a result of school closures and the increased need for elder people. Women are also hard hit by the economy impact of COVID-19 as they usually work in insecure labor markets. Siyabona nje ukuthi abanye umama abasawutholanga umsebenzi, laba abasebenzayo abasisizayo nasemizini yethu mangabe silapha emsebenzini kube nzima kuyo yonke into. Abanye abazange basakwazi ukuthi baphindele emsebenzini ngoba labantu akade bebaholela abasabuyelile emsebenzini, so abasakwazi ukuthi bakwazi ukubeka a plate of food in front of their children. The pandemic has also led to a steep increase in violence against women and girls. With lockdown measures in place, many women are trapped at home with their abusers. Lately, we have seen the rise of murder of women at the hands of men. We need to unite as a nation against this pandemic, which is the killing of women. It is platform like this that we need to be able to come up with initiatives, come up with a community programs and get the buy-in of all communities if we are to come out victoriously. Kuumsebenzi wethu, ngiyazi ukuthi ama-NGOs, they were playing a major role ngesikhathi sawo, enza wonke lama awareness kuma community, ama gender violence campaigns, kuwo wonke ama areas, and it's our task to make sure that we include all members of the communities to begin to talk about this pandemic of violence. I just want to say together we can build a successful country where both men and women have equal opportunities, have mutual respect and love for one another. And in closure, I just want to say to women and men and our boys and girls, no matter the situation, never let your emotions overpower your intelligence. With those words, I just want to say, imbokodo ayiqhubeke ilwe asikakaqedi, kusafanele senze okungaphezulu kwalokhu. ngifiseke ukuthi ngithi kuthina esesibadala, we need also to transfer the skills to our young girls so that they can be able to be mothers abafana nabo mama uWinnie Mandela bakwazi ukulwela i-country yabo. Once again, I want to thank all the presenters and also to thank our MEC for this kind of dialogue. And we need this dialogue in these forums so that all women can be able to share their ideas on how to handle the issue of gender equality. Thank you very much, Program Director.
Thank you so much, Mayor Maphumulo. Thank you for your contributions. Mayor Maphumulo is saying, imfundo ayikhulelwa. In this regard, education is lifelong. Women's rights are human rights. Indeed, progress over generations have been made. Today, we have more girls that are going to school. We have more women serving in parliament, and we have more to offer as women. And we are hoping that this is just continuous. We did hear earlier on the issue, a very sensitive issue around having a first female president in this country. I think we are heading in the right direction. I'm seeing that our participants are indeed engaging with us. We have a few questions that I would like to read out, and I would perhaps request some of the panelists to come in 1 minute, just giving a response. The first question posed here specifically is to NSG. Dr. Malakis, if you could please tentatively attend to this. I would just read out the question, and if you could just come on and answer. It says, considering the drastic budget cuts in government departments due to COVID-19, has NSG taken into account that we are unable to attend causes that are costly due to unavailability of budgets? What can be done to accommodate public servants wanting to learn but have budget barriers within their departments? Dr. Malakis, do you want to perhaps respond live as we can spare a minute towards this, please?
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can
Okay,
hear you.
sure.
Thank you so much.
Right. We have quite a few courses that are online, which would be cheaper than when you do the face-to-face training. And we have some courses that are for free, that are online and are for free. So if you can just visit our website on www.nsg.gov.za, you will be able to find and go under e-learning. There is quite a number of courses that are free of charge. Well, it's free of charge to you, but to us, they have been funded by one of our donors. So you will be able to do courses that we are giving for free. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Malakis, for that response. We just have some input here that I would read out quickly before we go to our next speaker. It's from Advocate Bridge Raj. Good day, all protocol observed. Many competent, highly qualified women do not apply for promotion posts due to personal circumstances. We need to encourage them to apply. This is input from Advocate Bridgelal. I believe this is indeed the case, as other women are often juggling with various priorities. And I do believe that we should be steadfast in encouraging them to apply for promotional posts. I have not seen, okay, I see a hand from Zululand. Can we allow Zululand to perhaps pose a question to the panelists? We will allow you to speak. If the administrators can please assist me in unmuting them so that they could be able to pose the question. Zululand District, please, may you pose your question. Thank you so much.
Program Director, ngibingelele umeya, ngibonile umeya wase-Kingsley usisi Meya uMama Mkhulise, ngibingelele umeya waseMpungundlovu, umeya wase-Reyikonyeni. Umbuzo wami ubheke umeya udadewethu uMqwebu lapha akhulume khona ngo-50%, both men, male, females and male councillors. Ukuthi u-MPC wethu ubaba uHlomuka ikuphi angakwenza ukuthi alekelele omasipala bonke ukuthi kube u-50%, njengoba isikhathi esiningi mawubuka nje uthola ukuthi kwabanye ngo-30 ngo-20 kube yi-policy nje khona from local government ukuthi all the female males must be 50% both sides. Bese kuthi kulokho kwesibili umqwebu uphinde wakhuluma ngama-women's commissions. Sinenkinga-ke labo local government aba-recognize ngendlela okuyiyona. Siyacela ukuthi uHlomuka akube nepolicy eqonda ngqo komasipala ekhuluma ne-commissioner nangama-women's focus chair kubo bonke omasipala kuyoselekelela lokho ngoba lokho kusinceda amandla njengamakhansela ukuthi sihambe labantu besifazane kuzo zonke indawo ngoba asirecognizeki as the women's councillors. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that input. Can I please invite the mayors to perhaps make a contribution? Mayor Mkhulisi, would you like to take the first part of the question just for a minute? And then we can also allow Mayor Mqwebu to further enhance your contribution. Thank you. Mayor, I see Mayor Mqwebu is, oh, okay. Are we coming on? Thanks. Or Maphumulo, okay. Please, if one of the mayors can assist with the response to that.
Okay. Thank you very much. Sibonge imbuzo ephuma kumama. Sifisa ukuthi sisho ukuthi komasipala kwakunento ethi abantu besifazane kufanele bahlangane bangabeki ama-political parties abo, kodwa bahlangane bakhulume ngezinto ezithinta bona, bese lezi zinto ezithinta bona bakwazi ukuzichanela e-ofisini ka-COGTA behlangene. Namanje ngifisa ukusho ukuthi uma singase siqinise leyo mzimba komasipala bethu, singakwazi ukwenza ama-wonders. Athi uma ethola i-input ephuma eZululand u-MEC ayithole kweyabantu besifazane abahlangene. Ngifisa ukuthi laphaya kwi-women's movement lapho sisuke sisho futhi ukuthi abantu besifazane abangahlukani ngoba lezi idingo zithinta wena, uthinta thina sonke ezabantu besifazane. Akusho ukuthi wena ubelonga kweyiphi party, kodwa uma ngabe sizothi masithola i-agenda esiyisa kwi-full council, sihlale phansi sithi ngiyabona lama issues athinta thina njengabantu besifazane, sithini ngawo, kube ukuthi sihlangene sikhipha izwi elilodwa kuyo yonke leya process. Uma thina sisathi political A no political B, uma ngabe sidila nama issues, le gender equity, le equality esifunayo ngeke size sikwazi ukuthi sifike kuyona. Futhi mabengasiboni ukuthi sihlangene ngeke bakwazi ukubona ukuthi basithathe seriously. Omama abamasha babehlangene ngezwi elilodwa ukuthi ubani owayekuphi, kodwa babe nento eyodwa ababethi this is what we want to achieve at the end of the day. angazi noma ngizamile kodwa kona ukuyicover nje kodwa leya unity amongst women in tackling ama-issues abhekene nathi iyadingeka komasipala sihlukane naleya political A no political B. I-women's movement ethi yini ama-issues athinta abantu besifazane siwa-addressa kanjani. Thank you.
No, thank you so much, Mayor, for those encouraging words and affirmations. Can we perhaps request Mayor Mqwebu to come in briefly as well? Thank you.
Do you hear me now?
Yes, we
Hello?
can hear you. Yes.
Okay. Firstly, what I want to say, uqinisile umama umeya waseMaritzburg eMgungundlovu ukuthi singamakhosikazi noma ngawuyiphi iphathi kukhona izinto ofuna sihlangane ngazo. Uma angazi noma umama ukhansela ubani lokhu kade ekhuluma Nkosi yami ngiyaxolisa ngizwanga kahle. Kukhona isikhathi la kwaba ne-complaint sibiziwe women commission siyeGoli. Azange bafuna ukubakhokhela, azange bafuna ukuthi balale ezindlini ehotel. But uma sikhuluma ngezwe elilodwa ungabi khona amakhosikazi azothi hayi mina angihlangene nalento angihlangene. Yabona manje sizoya kuma-elections. Abantu abazobaningi baba amakhansela amadoda ngoba aqala wona lapha kumawadi angene afuna ukuthi iwadi iphethwe indoda abuye ezelana ke manje kuma-PR amakhosikazi aseyothola igcuntu lapho esekuthiwa ke gcwalisa la gcwalisa la gcwalisa la. Uma bengabona sonke ukuthi asibheki ngokuthi mina ngiyiphi iqembu kodwa omunye umfazi lo siyokwazi ukuthi sikuwine lokho. Nikhulumeke nani uma nikisey'nhlanganweni zama-parties. Niyeke ukuthi umuntu loke besitshela ukuthi votela indoda, votela indoda. Ithina futhi esibabekayo laphayana. Ngiyaxolisa ukuyisho leyona. Kodwa ithina esibabekayo ezikhundleni. Ku-Women Commission, uqinisile umama ukuthi kuyafuneka ukuthi kuma-agenda nje noma ngaye council noma e-ESCO kungeyona ye-Women Commission kuye kube khona into eqondene nathi thina abantu besifazane ezodikidwa lapha thina sesihlale phansi sayixoxa ukuthi nakho esikufunayo sifuna ukuthi akwenzeke. Singahlekani futhi uma omunye mhlambe enze iphutha sihlekane phambi kwawo amadoda ngoba ayajabula ayakwazi futhi ukusebenzisa. Ngempela sisebenziseke thina besifazane. Ilokho nje bengifuna ukusho.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mayor. My administrators are informing me that there's another hand. Can we just take that last quick question before we go on to the next panelist? If can be assisted, please, Senzo, if you could allow the next person to speak.
Sanbonani, I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you, Madam Jali. Thank you so much.
Okay. Uzamazulu Jali lo khulumayo waka-Copter. It's a question that I'm posing to all the panelists. Do we believe it is only men that perpetrate gender inequality? I'm asking because I heard one of the speakers talking about the full head down syndrome, the fact that we desire to have a female president one day soon. And if we only look at men as perpetrators, we also need to look at ourselves as women. Women supporting each other, women looking after each other. Do we grow young women that are under us? Do we grow them? Do we prepare them to take over senior management positions and one day, or we're just focusing on ourselves? So I'm asking this question because I think it's important that we also look at ourselves. And yes, men are big perpetrators, but we also need to look at ourselves with Tina. What are we doing to ensure that there is a gender equality? Are we doing enough, or are we just saying it? Are we not also trying to sabotage? Like Umia has just said, Maj, example I beg you, when it's time to vote, Tina 40 females as a supporter men more than men. Tina as a pusher male leaders in the front and not support other women. So do we really believe that the males are the only gender inequality perpetrators? It's a question across for all panelists. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That is our current chairperson for the women management here at COGTA. A very important question that she's posing with regards to us looking at ourselves also as women. She's asking, are men the only perpetrators of inequality? Because we were even speaking here earlier on about the PhD syndrome where women do not support each other. Can I have a panelist member, please, attending to this important question? I see Mayam Kwebu is on screen already, so she is taking this one on. I think she's passionate about it. Please take the floor, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mrs. Mjali. Yes, you are correct. We always think about Beslisa, but we do have women who are perpetrators too. You see, when you, let me say, angifuna ukulinganisa ngamnje ngiyalinganisa. Ubekiwe district mayor lapha uthi uphethe amakhansela esilisa nawesifazane. But you will find that abantu abazohleba kakhulu ngawe are female councillors. Ama-female male, amanye awo azokutshela ukuthi uSoren so uthi. But don't look down upon yourself. Uhambe uyombuza. Noma uhambe uthethe noma ubhinqe. Just look at her. Engathi akukho lutho alishilo ngawe. You greet her, you laugh. Azaxakwe nje uthi kodwa lo muntu ngifuna ngoba mina ngimfuni. That's what happens within us as women. Kodwa kuya ngokuphela ke lokhu ukuthi abantu basidonsele phansi ngoba naye usibhekile isikhundla sokuthi akaye phezulu. Uwabhekile lamadoda lawa axoxa nawo ukuthi nawo wamphushele phezulu. I think that's it. Angazi banga umama angakhuluma naye kodwa amadoda iwona enza kuqala ukuthi asingafunani. Mekuthiwa umeya lo indoda ezothi umeya lona ucabanga ukuthi angawumeya injalo nje. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mayor. Thank you for that insightful contribution into this aspect. We are joined by my co-program director, Mrs. Makanya, who I will be handing over to also drive this program with me. As I had alluded earlier on, as women, we believe in sharing and we believe in also empowering each other. So she is now, she was also held up in another engagement, but she is now with us. I think I will hand over to you, Mrs. Makanya. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. Good afternoon, panelists, and good afternoon to all participants. Am I audible?
Afternoon.
Yes, we can hear you. Good afternoon.
Yes, you
Yes,
are audible.
I caught the conversation when Mayor Mqwebu was about to conclude her address. And I am very excited to be part of this engagement today. And I have noted the things that we need to be following up on in terms of how we are going to be taking these conversations forward. I would like to now invite our DDG for Development and Planning, Mrs. Barbara Mukujini, to take the podium. Thank you. The visual podium.
Thank you, Funi. Thank you to the program director. Greetings to the MEC in absentia, to the chair of SALGA, Umamuno Mkhulisi, to our mayors and councillors, as well as the colleagues and guests. I'm excited to be part of this discussion, and my focus is going to be on issues of advancing equity in local economic development and focusing also on the issues of budgeting and ensuring local procurement. They say the future is female, and I tend to agree with that, because indeed we can see the female are taking center stage. As indicated, I'm Barbara Mkuchini. I'm the first DDG in female DDG in COGTA, the first appointee of a female DDG, and I'm glad that it happened. And obviously, it was not out of my own making. The powers that be saw the potential in me, and I also got support from the women in management who are trailblazers and who are also grooming other women to move up the ladder. I'm glad that I work with women that are very supportive, and also women that have got that are futuristic in their thinking. As I indicated, I want to empower the females. Bogoto, yes. I want to empower our female councillors, as well as all the females in local government, to be on the lookout when we pass our budgets, when we do our strategic statements. Let's make sure that we always have women in mind. We are recovering from the pandemic, COVID-19, and as we recover, we would not want to go back to the future, the past that we had. We want a future that is different. We do not want to go back to the past that was not equitable. We want a future that is more, that recognizes us women. So we are pressing a reset button as we move forward. In the past, there was a lot of talk around affirmative action, and we're looking at numbers. That we've gone past that stage. Now we need to move on and compare and also measure impact in terms of access, in terms of control, in terms of participation in decision making. We need to measure the outcomes of these numbers that we have as we grow onto the ladder to the top. There is a measure that we always take as a country. We participate in various structures nationally. The World Economic Forum is one of them. There is a study that they do annually, which is called the Global Gender Gap Index. And as a country, we are number 17 out of 153 countries that participate in that survey. And in the sub-Saharan Africa, we are number 3. Obviously, Rwanda and Namibia take the lead. And what does that mean? The framework measures a number of dimensions: economic participation and opportunity. It measures educational attainment. It also measures health and survival, and it measures political empowerment. In terms of political empowerment as a country, we're doing very well. We are number 10. In terms of health and survival, we lead. We are in the first category. But when it comes to economic participation and opportunity, we are number 92, which means we are not doing enough to close that gap. And we need then to focus on that aspect of economic participation and opportunity. As I indicated, the whole world in terms of that gender parity measurement or index, we are sitting at 68%. And they say it will take us 99 years to reach parity. So not in our lifetime, unfortunately, but we can do something as we move on. The report recommends that we need to increase female labor force and participation in all sectors. It also says we need to increase the number of women in leadership positions so that they can make the decisions that will empower other women. It also says we need to close the gap in terms of wages. And it says we need to build parity in high demand skills and jobs in line with the fourth industrial revolution. So how can we do that as leaders in local government? Obviously, gender budgeting becomes very important and critical. And from a local government perspective, we need to look deeper, not just budgeting in terms of a program for women, but everything that we do, we need to ensure we measure how it will impact on women. We are measuring the outcome, not just the number of programs, but the outcome it will have. So when we analyze and look at our budgets and IDPs, we need then to find the mechanisms to measure how it will impact on women and whether the budgets perpetuate inequality between men and women, or it will lead to us reaching parity. So it's an outcome-based budget looking at gender issues. It leads me to the issue of entrepreneurship, which is my second focus area, in line with our LED strategies that we have in local government. We need to encourage women entrepreneurs as the key driver in terms of local economic development, and also to inform the LED strategies. We've seen the devastating effects of COVID-19 in terms of job losses, and in most cases, women are the most affected. We've seen retrenchments in terms of hotels, restaurants, in terms of production factories, and this is where most women are employed. We've also seen the impact in terms of the loss of income due to the death of the head of the household or a family member that has been contributing financially, or a reduction in the hours of work, which means less income, and also a reduction in the number of the employed in a household. And that in itself has led us to have more people going into poverty. Economic growth, it is estimated, is going to decrease by 7.9% as we move on. And it's going to take us 5 years to recover from this pandemic. Okay, we are likely to see a lot of people exiting the middle class into vulnerability due to COVID-19. So what do we then need to do? We've also seen the country being catapulted into 4IR, screaming and kicking. We never knew we would be doing all this work on virtual platforms. We never knew council meetings could be held virtually, but kicking and screaming, we've been doing it. We have no choice then but to move with the times in terms of technology and the technological advancement. We've also seen an increase in gender-based violence due to financial stress, and also it means we need financial independence. And all this is linked to the issue of ensuring we promote entrepreneurship. Economic recovery in the country is going to be achieved through entrepreneurship and supporting the SMMEs that we have. But in that process, as local government, we need then to create markets for these SMMEs that we are creating, the markets for their goods and the services that they are providing. And this can only be done through influencing the LED strategies that we have. Worldwide, we've also seen countries are now promoting localization, meaning we are promoting our own local products and going the buy local campaigns. So all countries are moving towards that strategy, and as South Africa, we can't be left behind. And in promoting those buy local campaigns, let's make sure that the businesses that are run by women are also promoted in the process. And where are the economic opportunities as we move forward? Manufacturing is taking center stage, especially as part of the economic recovery program announced by the president of the country. And it's a space that we can easily enter as women, but we need to then outline the opportunities that are there so that women can form entrepreneurship arrangements to take advantage of the economy. It is therefore critical that we drive women to participate in these critical sectors. And which ones are these? Manufacturing, we need to look at the whole manufacturing value chain from clothing to textiles. We've seen the shortage of PPE during the COVID-19, and we are saying there are so many opportunities in there, and we need to ensure that women are driven towards those opportunities. When you also go into the shops, you can see there isn't much in terms of the fashion industry, and we know as women, we can do something about it, and we can actually enter that space and promote women that are producing locally manufactured goods and services. We also have opportunities in terms of agriculture and agri-processing, the ocean economy, aquaculture. The issue of renewable energy is also taking center stage in light of climate change. And there are opportunities in terms of the energy sector and the components manufacturing, especially around renewable energy and solar panels. Those can be done locally now. And we need to ensure the businesses that we promote in our local spaces are aligned to this. There is also a critical area, which is the circular economy, especially around the plastics, as well as issues around recycling. It's an untapped space, and yet within local government, it's an area that we've got control over, and we can support our women enterprises to enter into this, area. Automotive parts supply is also an area that we can look into. So all in all, we are saying there is a lot of opportunities in the manufacturing sector, and let's support our women enterprises to enter into this space. And we can do that through the budgeting, through promoting the LED strategies to focus on support to these economies. We also have to look at issues of broadband and the digital skills. We were exposed to the inequalities around ICT during COVID, and this should be looked at as an opportunity, because now it means we need to focus on the opportunities that are there within the broadband and ICT sector. The future is female, and it's also going to be highly digital. So we need to ensure that we have women participating in that space. The MEC for Public Works, Umama Nkonyeni, always talks about the potential of the cannabis industry. There is a bill currently underway to regulate the industry, but we need to then prepare ourselves to ensure that we enter that space, which is uncharted territory, and we need to partner with institutions such as your Moses Kotane, your Dube Tradeport, that are already participating in the sector, and we need to prepare ourselves so that we are not left behind. I'm sure you are all aware of the opportunities in terms of the Africa Continental Free Trade area. There are opportunities to trade internationally. There is an agreement that has been signed by the African countries, and there are then opportunities to export to these countries. And as we promote our local spaces in terms of local economic development, let's see what goods and services we can then promote to export into these areas that we are speaking of. Funding instruments are there. We must never say there is no funding out there for women enterprises or women ventures. As an example, with the IDC or NEF, the National Empowerment Fund, there is funding set aside specifically for women enterprises. And if we need more information on that, that can be made available. But for those that have access to internet, you can Google or look at the websites for the IDC, for NEF, even for our own Itala Bank. There are special programs that are meant specifically for women, and we need to then ensure we find space to operate in that. In terms of the township and village economies, again, during COVID, there was a lot of stress in the townships when businesses were closed, and even the informal trading space could not operate during level 5 lockdown. And we, as local government, were compelled to issue permits to ensure the industry opens in terms of the informal economy. There is a lot of opportunity in that space in the informal economy, and that's where you find also a lot of women operating. And all we are saying is channel budgets towards the opportunities for women, channel these budgets so that we prepare informal trading spaces so that our female traders trade in more acceptable places. So we are saying there is opportunity, and we need to partner even with private sector to promote some of these opportunities that are there. In terms of gender sensitive procurement, it talks to localization, and it goes hand in hand with the need to be gender sensitive in our procurement. We should promote companies that are operating within our spaces. That's the localization concept. The buy local campaign has become critical, and we are saying you can then, as female councillors, female leadership, you can then channel all your procurement towards the local community, because as an institution, your policy statements can assist in that. But then we cannot just sit and not monitor compliance to all these set targets. We saw in the presentation by previous speakers, there are set asides for women, the 30% that is in our procurement strategies, which says 30% of all procurement should be channeled towards women. But what are we doing as women to ensure there is compliance within the local government sector to those set targets? Is there a monitoring system that we've put together to ensure that we monitor local government to comply with those set asides? With the youth and even with other formations like your business forum, we can see they go around and they check the compliance in terms of the set asides. But as women, we then need to also find ways of ensuring we have a system to monitor. There is a speaker that spoke before in terms of establishing forums for women within districts. And these are some of the agenda items that we can have in the women forums to ensure that we set up systems of ensuring we then are able to monitor compliance with the set asides, especially for gender equity. I'm not saying we should be harsh like Amadela Ngubona, no ways, but we can always negotiate as women and ensure as we pass our budgets, there is that element of compliance or monitoring the compliance with the procurement strategy and the set asides that we have. We are then saying at the end, the ball is in our court as women in local government, and in particular, the female councillors that we have, as well as the officials that work in local government. It's in our capacity to then monitor and ensure that as females, we enter into all these spaces that I've indicated, all these sectors where we still need to participate, the opportunities that are there. The key takeaway, therefore, is as women in local government, let's influence the budget policy statement, let's monitor, and let's ensure there is the application of all the policies that we have at a national level. We bring them and cascade them into our local spaces because we've got the power to do that as we pass our budgets. On that note, may I wish you a happy Women's Month and ensure that as we move forward, we make things happen as women. I am generation equality, so are you, so let's make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Mkuchini, for a well-researched and very eloquent presentation. We are making notes of the inputs that you have made, and it is also going to be part of our programs that we will be formulating as we acknowledging that we are moving to a different direction. And the options that we have provided to the forum are also well received. May I take this opportunity to welcome the MEC for Local Government and Traditional Affairs, for Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, MEC Sipho Hlommuka, who has just joined us. MEC, would you like to make your greetings as we proceed with the program? I'm aware that you have another engagement within the next 45 minutes or so.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Let me start by apologizing. I have a serious challenge on my laptop, hence I'm using my phone. So I have a problem with my camera as well. I've been trying to connect, but technology is failing me. It's not your problem, Program Director, and the meeting is my challenges. I want to extend the greetings to honorable mayors present here, all councillors, ESCOM members, speakers, panelists, and all officials present. All protocol is observed, including the viewers. I think, as I've already indicated, that I want to raise my apology. Also, we finished late our first meeting, the portfolio committee meeting. Then I thought I would join. I was supposed to welcome you in this important gathering of celebrating the month of August with all the leaders, with all the family leaders, and from different spheres of government, but especially at local government, because local government is one of the important spheres in government that ensure that we empower our people. Especially this meeting will going to assist us to ensure that we come with recommendations. How are we going to continue to empower and support Iran as we are in this August meeting to come with a solution. We want to really appreciate the role that was played and still played by the women. If we will remember that in 1956, a number of women, they gathered together and fight for liberation during the apartheid government, and they marched to ensure that our country, they are fighting for liberations. Hence, was saying the role that was played by the women, and they are still playing it now. That's why we thought it's important that let's have this kind of gathering where female leaders, they discuss and come with solution, and will also borrow the experience of the former leaders. We can name them who fought for this country. Oh, Mama, oh, Winnie Mandela, oh, Mama, oh, Lilian Ngoyi, oh, Mama Helen Joseph, or Mama Zanele Mpegi, or Dorothy Nyembe, a number of female comrades. There are many, even at the world level, there are many female that have fought for this country. Hence, we must ensure that in empowering a woman, they are the first agenda that they must be taken serious, as they have contributed to ensure that we get what we have today, a political freedom. But we must ensure that when we fight together the economic freedom, but they must benefit first, because they were previously disadvantaged than the men. as a program director. So we're in this gathering this afternoon to take a place to create the uncertainty across the world. You know that in the midst of what the World Health Organization described as a once of the century epidemic, which is the coronavirus, we are meeting during these difficult times. But even during these difficult times, we must not lose the focus and should continue to ensure that we empower women. I connected in this forum or in this meeting when the DDG Mkujeni spoke about the programs that empower women, like the program of local and community development, of which we must use all those programs and cooperatives to ensure that women are the first one who benefit, because we know that when you empower a woman, you empower the household, you empower the whole country. So I just want to raise those few things. I know that in our province, all councillors, especially female councillors in all 54 municipalities, they were invited, and all executive ESCO members were also part of this meeting. And hence I said at the end of this meeting, they will come with a recommendation, or I'm not sure if the program director or the DTG was raising those recommendations, because I just came late in this meeting. And having said that, I also want to put on record that as a department, we have ensured that in senior management position, women, they must be 50-50, but we're above 50%, because we are taking serious the role played by the women in the senior management in the department. We are 50 plus senior management in the department. So having said that, program director, I want to thank the contribution made by the panelists who have presented a number of topics, and also thanks the honorable mayors who have left everything and be part of this meeting to ensure that the empowerment of women in generally is one of the important thing to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, MEC Hlomuga, for those words and for availing yourself in the midst of your impossible schedule for today. We want to assure you and the panelists that all the discussions that have occurred this afternoon are going to be compiled into a report with firm recommendations. And we make an undertaking that we are not only doing this because it's August month. The next time we're going to be seeing it is middle of July next year, as we scramble for something to report on in August. So we are going to formulate a proper plan of action, which we are going to be reporting on a quarterly basis. And we want to extend these kinds of discussions to occur at a district level, but that is going to be part of the action plan that I am referring to. With that said, we have one more panelist, Zanele Mngadi, who is going to take us through her presentation. I noted that there are questions that there is a question that has not been acknowledged, but I would like for Uzanele to come in so that if there are questions or any other suggestions, we can do those as we wrap up for the day. Zanele, please, can you come in?
Thank you very much, Program Director Ngiyabonga kakhulu. Maybe one should respectively abingelele Honorable MEC Hlomuga and the district mayors who are here, local mayors, councillors, and all senior officials in local government, be it in municipalities and in COGTA as well. Program director, it's very a touchy topic that I will be presenting today. But maybe one should say, as much as I am representing ILGM, I am still part of COGTA. And the ILGM is an institute for local government managers. Maybe it will be proactive that I introduce what is ILGM that I am presenting here. The ILGM is an institute for local government managers. It's an organization of all municipal managers in South Africa, with its branches in all provinces. I am currently the chairperson of local government representing KZN, but I am representing women. And maybe a program director, I must say that as ILGM Women's Desk, we fully embraced and rally behind the theme, generation equality, realizing women's right for an equal future, in commemorating the 25th anniversary of the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action. Women in the sphere of local government within the ILGM Women's Desk have been afforded a platform where, as professionals, we have the freedom to debate the importance of the implementation of gender equality policies within municipalities in South Africa. Maybe I should stress, Program Director, that my capacity as a chairperson of women in local government, as a national chairperson in ILGM, I am representing municipalities in South Africa. So I will be talking on behalf of all municipalities, particularly in KZN. So as I'm talking, I'm the voice of municipalities in KZN. So secondly, the issue that affects and hinders the implementation of policies, it's one of our mandates as the National Women's Desk in South Africa that we debate. And one of our mandate is to lobby for the enforcement of gender equality policies that seeks to transform the faces of municipalities in South Africa. The local sphere of government bore the responsibility of achieving gender equality in the entire country. The priority of women had long been marginalized. I must say that, especially under the system of apartheid, we have long been marginalized. The implementation of gender-sensitive policies in workplace is very, very, very slow, especially in the municipal sphere of government. Few women in local government, especially in municipalities, hold senior management position. I'm referring to municipal managers, I'm referring to directors, especially with the technical skills. In addressing the importance of the implementation of gender equality policies, we are guided and informed by various adopted protocols and declaration, in particular, the SADC protocol on gender and development, which was adopted in 2008. Such protocols seeks to harmonize the implementation of various instruments for which SADC member states have subscribed to. I must say, Program Director, that South Africa is part of SADC community. Therefore, we are bound to implement such policies in our municipal environment. Amongst other issues in the is the Convention of Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, focusing on issues of implementation of gender equality, in particular in the distribution of position of authority. Our core mandate is to say the position of authority must be shared among women and men. We must not see men in municipal space being MMs, and we have fewer women who are municipal managers. That's our mandate. That's mainly our core mandate. We are guided by the quote of Peter Matthiessen, which was, it's very important that perhaps I must say this. It was during 2016, during World Economic Forum, as follows. It must become culturally acceptable for men to subjugate their career prospect to allow women to succeed. Peter here was saying, we must not argue and debate that men must be stepped down if they can and allow women to lead, or we must share this position of authority. It has to be something that needs to come naturally. So we have to fight for it to come naturally than to debate and debate and debate. That was the plight of Peter in 2007 when he was addressing the World Economic Forum. Again, we rely on Chapter 9 institutions, in particular, and COGTA to monitor and evaluate the implementation of such policies. Also, Chairperson, we are lobbying that this webinar today resolve that COGTA KZN continue to lead by example to all municipalities in KZN, as currently COGTA KZN is sitting at 62% of women in position of authority, which is way above 50% that municipalities in KZN are still struggling to achieve. It is our submission, Chairperson, that COGTA KZN remain as the beacon of hope for all municipalities in KZN, where out of 54 municipalities plus 1 metro, we are celebrating the following achievements. The female municipal managers, we only have 10 currently, with 2 district municipalities that are led by women. That is Herikwala district and King Cetshwayo district. We were very happy at some stage that we had 3 districts that were led by women. That was Ilembe, up until the for Ilembe was then moved to Umhlabiyalingana. Then we were left with only 2 districts. It's one of the challenges that we always find. We must also celebrate, Chairperson, that we have climbed the ladder. We are currently sitting with 16 CFOs who are females and 7 director technicals and 8 director local economic development and 22 corporate services directors and 21 community services directors. I must say, program director, that August is a month where we need to celebrate this achievement. It's not enough, but if one were to look back where we come from, where in KZN there were only 2 municipal managers, there was not even a single director technical who is a female, and let alone the CFO, and now we are sitting with 16 CFOs. We feel that as women, we must celebrate this achievement. It's not enough, but we must celebrate. It gives us courage when we celebrate. And this is how we looked at August. We look at August as the month where we need to celebrate our achievement. We've got 11 months where we have to lobby and fight and debate, but when it comes to August is where we dedicate it to celebrate whatever achievement we have made as women, in particular in municipalities. Program Director, although we are celebrating, it is worth mentioning that in 2020 Women's Month as professional in local government, we note with grave concern and we condemn the stage of violence and abuse against women that seeks to undermine the gains that we are embracing and celebrating today. As women in the local sphere of government, we are very much concerned about the level of intellectual bullying that as professional women, especially in municipalities, we are experiencing. You know, when one were to unpack what is professional bullying is where when a woman display his intellectual capabilities and display the understanding of concept and issues, then you become, you get targeted, you are seen as a threat. Therefore, as a woman, you must not display your capabilities and your intellectuality, because by so doing, you become a threat. And it is so unfortunate that once you become a threat, even our own women, they tend to marginalize you. So it's one of the things that we said as women, as we are celebrating Women's Month, we need to voice this and condemn it, because it also encourages women to step back, not to take part in applying for such position. Also, it also discourages women from applying or unveiling themselves for any position of authority in municipality. Instead, they leave this sphere of local government and they go into some private sector and they go and join COGT because of the very same intellectual bullying that they are experiencing in municipalities. Program Director, I must say that this intellectual bullying is not coming from our own male counterpart. It also comes from councillors as well. You know, councillors, the male counterpart, they seem not to value the intellectuality of women, especially in municipalities. It's something that we need to condemn as women. And Program Director, I must say that the programs that as LGM, we said we are going to embark on in trying to make it sure that the issues of gender equality in municipalities are realized. As LGM, we've based our position on the resolution that we took in Ballito 2016. We called our resolution as the Ballito Declaration. We took a lot of resolutions, so they form part of our Ballito Declaration. So we have developed a tangible and a clear program on how to professionalize local government in realization the importance of gender equality. We have encouraged all women in local government to join any progressive women's organization, irrespective of political affiliation. We have seen more women joining PPF. PPF is our major stakeholder in municipal space, where we debate and lobby issues of women to be recognized as leaders or as future leaders. We have developed and implemented programs that sharpens women intellectual, emotional, and aspirational intelligence in an effort to assist municipalities to recognize women as future leaders. We have lobbied that implementation of gender equality policies and the representation of women in decision-making structures should be everyone's responsibility. It should not be our responsibility as professional women also only. Political leaders, they need to take part as well, because this is a political issue. We can run away from it, but the deployment of municipal managers in municipalities, it is a political issue. It is an issue that even if you've got a doctorate, you've got masters, but it is a political issue that as professional women alone, we cannot really see sizoyiwina leyo mpi leyo. We do need our politician to come on board. We have lobbied for all programs that seek to facilitate the empowerment of women and participation within the municipality to be prioritized. We have lobbied that women should support those already in leadership, and that women in leadership positions should not become gatekeepers or barriers for other women to come in. The LGM and Women in Local Government, we are currently advocating and mobilizing for the passing of the legislation on compulsory representation in both administration and in political position, particularly in leadership position in all spheres of government and in all other state organs. That women in leadership positions should always strive to excel, so they can demonstrate to the society that women are ready to take leadership position in their own right, by coaching programs that are championing by the LGM National. That in partnership with the Office of the MEC, the quarterly dialogues should take place to advance women's issues and take stock of the progress in dealing with identified issues. That all municipalities must establish women's caucuses within their municipalities. Why I'm stressing about this establishment of women's caucuses in municipalities is because it's where we feel as women in municipalities, these issues will be ventilated and debated, and our political counterpart within municipality, they will listen to our plight as women in local government, particularly in municipalities, and these issues will be elevated to higher levels. We've also, and as IGM, trained the women's caucuses and women's commissioners within KZ and in partnership with SALC. Why we have prioritized that training? Because we have concluded that by working with women's caucuses and women's commissioners, this particular fight, it's our fight that we need to fight together with councillors within municipality. That the IGM should lobby for the co-option of capable women by SALGA Women's Commission at a national, provincial, and regional and local level to assist proper functioning of SALGA Women's Caucuses. We are super when we see that the women's caucuses in municipalities are not functioning. That is why we said as IGM, we need to capacitate. We need to select experience in capacitating these portfolio committees that deals with the implementation of gender equality policies. Sibaqeqesha amakhansela because we think ukuthi our weapon lies there within councillors, which we need to fight together. Chairperson, as I am ending, I want to end by quoting my favorite author, Amilcar Cabral, in his book, Unity and Struggle. He said, I quote, "No matter how hot the water from the well, it will not cook your rice." I repeat, Amilcar Cabral in his book, Unity and Struggle said, no matter how hot is the water from the well, it will never cook your rice. If one way to unpack this quote is, if noma amanzi angabila kanjani, uthi ufaka i-rice, that rice won't be cooked. Meaning that noma ungafunda kangakanani kumasipala, ube no-doctorate, ube ne-masters, but if we don't come together, professionals, councillors, and all other stakeholders, silwe le mpi, sizoyiwina. In this particular case, Amilcar Cabral was referring to firewood, that the water can be hot in a well, but you still need firewood. Firewood is a stakeholder that will make sure that the rice is cooked. So in our case, we are saying our stakeholders are politicians, are all sectors of society, that we need to come together and fight, because this struggle is not the struggle of us as professionals. It's a struggle set to song. Chairperson, as I'm talking on behalf of professionals. I will end there. Thank you so much, Chairperson.
Asibonge, Ms. Mngadi, for your input into the program. Usungasicimela? Yes, thank you for your input into our program. To our guests, we have a few questions, actually two, that have been posed. I will go through them now and invite our panelists to respond to them. I have a question from Unomfundo Ntombela, which is, how does government measure women empowerment? Is it based on numbers in relation to gender imbalance? What impact can be drawn from a government perspective besides the numbers? That is a question from Nomfundo Ntombela. And I have one other from Amako Matonsela from Facebook. And it says, the thing is, local government must come up with strategies to assist women, especially rurally based segment of women, to be priority of the IDPs. May I request for our panelists to respond to these matters raised?
Thank you, Ms. Makanya. Maybe I'll respond to Unomfundo Ntombela. I'm assuming it's my Nomfundo. I'm saying my Nomfundo because in my unit, we used to have a Nomfundo Ntombela. She has climbed up the ladder and she's now an assistant director in another organization. And if she is the one, I'm proud to see that she's also now challenging me with the questions that I would give to them, as she was responsible for a program that was empowering women within COCTA, which was the Community Works Program and EPWP. And part of her work included supporting women cooperatives within the program. I can see she says, yes, it is. I'm quite happy to see she participated. In terms of a question, I think I did add to the question in my presentation earlier on, that we now need to move away from measuring numbers to say we've got so many SMS members that are female. We need to now move to measuring what those female members are doing, or what they are, what decisions they are taking that will impact the ordinary people out there. So it's the decisions that we make and the impact of those decisions on the ordinary people. We are measuring the outcome of the numbers that we have in terms of women. This is now an outcome-based approach. We are also measuring the participation in decision making, and we are measuring the control and access to information and how we are utilizing that information to impact on the communities. And that also relates to the issue that I raised earlier on, to say our numbers should now be influencing the budgets. It should now influencing issues of local procurement. So can I end there in terms of my response? Thank you.
Thank you, Susby, for the response. May I invite other panelists to tackle the first question?
Okay, thank you. I think what is currently happening, we are measuring on the number of women that are in SMS and higher positions, because DPSA requests that we give statistics of how many women we have in SMS positions. And the target, the national and provincial target, it's 50% of women that must be in SMS level. So basically we are measuring on the number of women that are in those posts. And in terms of decision making and what difference they are making in the organization. But so far, the measuring is on the number of women that are at SMS, and the equity target is at 50%. Thank you.
Thank you,
There is a
Doctor.
question.
There is a hand from Zululand. Sorry, I could not hear who was on the floor. Mayor of Mkungundlovu.
No, thank you very much. A question was around the IDP participation. I just want to say to the person who asked the question that as local municipalities,
we need also to make sure that we come up with programs that are going to capacitate our communities to participate fully in the IDP, because it's the service delivery document. And if they are not fully participating, we are going to come up with ready-made programs to them. So mine is to say community service departments, they need to come up with programs that are going to capacitate our communities. And also the office of the speakers, those offices need also to come up with a program to say we need people to come up with ideas of how to shape their own service delivery in their own wards. It's a matter of must that the programs on participation in IDP are understood, since we are going also to embark in the district development models. I think people in local municipality, they need also to understand deeply about this district development model, where we are going to come up with one plan and also to come up with one budget. So all the municipalities now are no longer going to say, we need also to come together. So the capacitation is very much important, and community service in all municipalities, including the district, must make sure that they come up with programs that are going to capacitate people so that they can be able to participate correctly in their wards and in their municipalities. That's my contribution.
Thank you very much, Councillor Maphumulo. And I trust that the questions that were raised have been sufficiently responded to. I saw a hand from Zululand. If I can ask that they come in.
Thank you, Program Director. Our Honorable MEC, Dr. Muga, our panelists and participants, I will not take long, but I would like to raise my concern, of which together we need to look upon it. I'm staying in the far rural area, whereby the young females are traveling a very long distance from home to school. And if possible, if ever maybe, it can be done that they are provided by learner transport, not only where I stay, but all over, because most of them are being raped on the way to school. And some of them does not even finish their matrics. So in order for them to be well skilled and well learned, they need transport. So if ever our Honorable MEC, Baba Shumogo, we've got hope and trust on you, and you ladies as our leaders there in the upper limits, we rely on you, that you're gonna help us as females that will help the young ladies to be the future leaders. Because without the females, then there will be no nation. I submit.
Thank you to the Deputy Mayor. And it is not a question really, it is a issue for consideration for when we are debating these matters further, and also when we are doing budgets on what needs to be considered and prioritized. We are noting it as a contribution to be pursued as a matter that needs to be taken to structures outside this particular forum. At this stage, I'm not sure if my co-pilot is reconnected. She had lost connection. Can you indicate, Halima, if you are back? It does not seem like she is reconnected. Can I request if there is any last comments from our panelists before we close off this session?
Thank you, Chair. This is Mayor Mqwebu. Hello.
Yes.
We
I
hear
just
you,
want
ma'am.
I just want to say, Chairperson, I want to thank all the women who have contributed in asking questions and also contributed with the knowledge which they have given to us as women. Please, we ask this should go on. I heard the other woman saying, if we can have this quarterly, just to revive ourselves. But as women, we must take these discussions very serious because they can take us far if we work together. Thank you very much.
Okay, Chair, thank you very much. From my side, Dr. Izzy, as representing the National School of Government, we thank you for this platform that we got to share with you what is it that we're really doing as the National School of Government. And to each and every woman who has participated in today's forum, I say, as you go up the ladder, make sure that you take another woman with you. Let us work together to ensure that we get to the 50% equity target that we are supposed to. Thank you very much and good luck for the rest of the year with whatever endeavors that you will be taking. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. On my side is the Mayor of Gungundlovu District. I want to thank all our presenters for their time preparing and sharing with us the information to capacitate us. And I am sure everybody who was here gained something out of this dialogue. And my request is that as leaders, we need also to put rural women first. So if we are a leader, make sure that you have a women group out there where we are going to disseminate information and capacitate those women in rural areas, because they are really hungry for information. So thank you very much for this kind of dialogue. I hope that as districts also, we are going to encourage our local government sphere to have such dialogues and also to feed our department of COGTA as districts. And with a development model, I think we are going to do better than before. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Mapumulo. Any other panelists?
Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you, Chair Funi. I think from my side, it's just to encourage women. Let's continue to be the glass ceiling breakers, and also let's push for the formation of the forums that we've been talking about at a district level and at a provincial level. Ladies, let's push for a Women Economic Council. We've got other councils in place like your BEE Council, your KZN Economic Council. Let's push for a council that specifically focuses on women issues. And in that regard, we'll be able to then push for further empowerment of women. Thank you.
Ms. Mngadi?
Thanks, Chairperson. Chairperson, my closing remarks will be, it is worrying. The caucuses and commissions, especially at a municipal level, awasebenzi kahle. I really wish ukuthi, as this forum, when we go back to our municipalities, we revive our caucuses. Caucuses, I'm not talking about political caucus, I'm talking about the women's caucuses and the women's commission. And as IGM, as we have assisted in the past, we are also available to assist to revive these structures, these caucuses, because we feel that as women, especially in municipalities, the failure of these women's caucuses, it will be the failure of us realizing our goal as women. So it is umphako nje engicela ukuthi abaphathiswa ngibanikeze wona ukuthi as IGM we are available to assist in capacitating these structures so that zikwazi ukuthi zifashine zenze umsebenzi ekumeleleke ukuthi ziwenze. Thank you so much, Chairperson.
Thank you to all the panelists and all the participants. I will not be naming you one by one as panelists. Thank you for closing remarks and thank you for preparing for this special occasion that we are having today. We've made the undertaking that we are going to be formulating a report out of this, and we are going to be pursuing another route in terms of making sure that these structures work, because we've tried the route of saying, okay, we've had the August discussion, go back and disseminate this information in your districts, but we know how things pile up and we somewhat lose the essence of what we have resolved to do. We will be pursuing another route altogether in terms of how we take these matters forward. Let me thank everyone for availing yourselves, but we have one last item that I have been alerted to. There is going to be a performance, a virtual performance by one special lady. Her name is Umangcobo Wakhoza. I will invite her to be part of the closing of this ceremony, and I am inviting everyone to stay logged on. It's not going to be a long performance. I think she is ready. Please, can you indicate if you are? And thank you for being part of this audience. The MEC has requested to be recused, and we will be reporting to him accordingly.
Thank you so much. Mangcobo Khoza here. I'll be performing to you the song titled Izizwe. I hope this prayer reaches our God as we are soldiering on and wishing and hoping that solutions could come so that women of our country and women in our societies, they feel and they become part of the movement in ensuring that they are empowered and we go forward together. Ngiyacabanga ukuthi nizoyi-enjoya i-performance yami. It's gonna start shortly.
Sondelani sizwe se-Afrika, sondelani sizwe se-Afrika, hamba wokukhatha
Viva Mbogodo.
Thank you very much for the performance. Let me take this opportunity to thank each and every one of the participants from the various districts, and for everyone who has been watching our session online. And this brings us to the end of our engagement this afternoon. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For
Thank
sharing
you.
this meeting for us.
Thank you. Very
Thank
informative.
you.